Derek had always prided himself on being a traveler, not a tourist. No five-star hotels, no guided tours. Just a backpack, a worn-out lonely planet, and a hunger for the unknown. This time it was East Asia, his destination. A remote mountain village in western Laos, where his old friend Ethan had supposedly found real peace. The journey started well enough. Crumbling bus rides, forest paths, and broken GPS signals. But somewhere along the way, Derek made a wrong turn. It was already dusk when the jungle path opened into a clearing. A small village, primitive but oddly well-kept, emerged from a mist. There were no roads in or out, no signs, and nothing like it on his map. As he approached, the villagers stepped out silently, barefoot, blank-faced, all wearing carved wooden pendants shaped like teardrops. No one spoke English. No one smiled. But they welcomed him with a strange kind of reverence, nodding solemnly and pointing him toward the center of the village. There, a hunched elder, face painted with ash, held out his hand and said in slow, broken English, "You guessed. You bathe now." Confused but exhausted, Derek nodded. He was led to a wooden tub, steaming faintly in the night air. The scent hit him first, acrid, sour, unmistakable. It was a bath, yes, but the liquid was yellow, cloudy, and pungent. He gagged. "What is this?" The elder responded, emotionless. "Urine of tribe, old tradition, cleansing. You, not clean. You marry, you bathe. You visit, you bathe." He looked around. All eyes on him. Refusal was not an option, so he stepped in. The fluid was warm and clung to his skin. He tried not to breathe through his nose. Children giggled. Women watched blankly. Men nodded approvingly. Someone began humming a low, droning chant. After what felt like hours, he was led to a hut and told to sleep. Don't wash. Important. The smell haunted his dreams. By dawn, he was awake before the village. He packed his things, still coated in dried piss, and fled. The path behind him seemed different now, less dense. He hiked for hours until he finally reached the real village where Ethan lived. He tried to explain what happened, but Ethan only frowned. There's nothing in that direction, man. Locals say no one's lived out there for decades. Just some old war tribe that vanished. Or went crazy. Derek never found a village again, no matter how many maps he studied. But the smell, faint, ammonia sharp, still followed him for weeks, no matter how hard he scrubbed. Some nights, he dreams of the tub again, and each time, the elder's voice is clearer. You belong now. David was the kind of man who liked to talk on planes. A mid-level marketing exec from Denver with a suitcase full of PowerPoints and carry-on charisma. He saw travel as networking opportunities in the sky. So when he took a seat in 17A on the red-eye to Seattle and saw a girl, maybe 13 or 14, already seated in 17B, headphones on, hoodie drawn up, legs crisscrossed like a coiled cat, he was disappointed. No conversation here. Probably glued to TikTok, he thought. But halfway through the flight, turbulence shook the plane and startled her. She pulled off her headphones, looked over at him, and smiled. A child smile. Wide-eyed, slightly awkward. You scared? He asked, half laughing. She gave a small shrug. Just startled. Don't like flying much. He chuckled. You get used to it. Where you headed? Seattle, she replied. To see my uncle. David nodded. Nice. Visiting family. Sort of. Despite himself, he kept talking. She responded slowly but surely, in a soft voice that never cracked. Her tone was calm, almost too calm, as if rehearsed. But David didn't think about that then. He just found it odd how articulate she was, how her vocabulary slipped between childish and poetic. You seem older than you look, he said at one point. She grinned. People say that a lot. She told him her name was Lena. She said she liked animals, that she'd been homeschooled, that sometimes she felt like she didn't belong in any particular time. I mean, she said, looking out the window at the night sky, don't you ever feel like you're pretending to be who you are? David blinked. Sometimes, when they landed, they parted with a small wave. 3 days later, David got a message on his work email. No subject. The body simply read, "You were kind to me. Most people aren't." Attached was a photo of him, sleeping on the plane. She must have taken it with her phone. He blinked. Weird. Maybe she found his name on the flight manifest? But how would she know his email? 2 days later, he found a note under the windshield wiper of his car. "You always lock your door before bed, right?" His heart pounded. Was it a prank? He went to the police. They told him it could be anything. No crime had been committed. That night, his doorbell rang at 2:08 a.m. When he looked out through the peephole, there was no one there. But taped to the door was a photo of her. Only this time, she looked different. Same hoodie, same eyes. But the photo was old, grainy, yellowed. Written on the back, Lena, age 13, 1993. The next morning, he went to work late, bleary-eyed and paranoid. He started Googling. Missing girls named Lena. There was an article that said, Lena Gosselin, presumed dead, last seen in 1993. Authorities believe she was abducted or ran away. After that, he stopped sleeping. He put up cameras. He started seeing her in crowds, in coffee shops, on reflections in windows. Sometimes, in his peripheral vision, she stood just out of reach. And every time he thought he had proof, footage, photos, they'd vanish, deleted, corrupted, like she was erasing herself. One night, he walked into his apartment and found every mirror turned toward the wall. On the bathroom mirror, written in fog despite no steam, were 4 words, "I'm not done yet." Spooked, David ran out of the apartment, got on his car, and sped away. He wanted to get as far as possible, but in his despair, he lost control of the vehicle and crashed, losing consciousness. David wakes up in a psychiatric hospital. The plane never existed. There was no Lena. His co-workers had reported erratic behavior after a company retreat. A psychologist tells him he's suffering from a rare form of psychotic break, induced by stress and loneliness. But just as the psychiatrist leaves, David notices something chilling. A girl, hood up, sitting in the hospital garden. She smiles and mouths, "You're not crazy.